Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, we have a story that will blow your mind. A 1-cent coin, yes, a penny that's worth a staggering $260 million. You might be thinking, wait, isn't a penny just worth 1 cent? Well, let me tell you, not all pennies are created equal. Stick with me as we dive deep into the history and value of this incredibly rare and valuable US coin. At first glance, this looks just like any ordinary penny. It's got Abraham Lincoln on one side and the words E pluribus unum and United States of America on the other. Nothing too special, right? But what if I told you that one specific penny, minted in 2000 could fetch $260 million at auction? Yes, you heard that correctly, $260 million. So, what makes this penny so valuable? Well, the story behind this coin is fascinating, and it all starts with a simple mistake at the US Mint. In the year 2000, the US Mint made a mistake, and it would go on to become one of the most significant errors in the history of American coinage. This error involved a single penny minted that year, but it wasn't just any penny. It was a misstrike coin, a coin that had been mistakenly struck with the wrong materials, creating a very unique and very rare piece. This coin is often referred to as the 2000 copper penny or the 2000 double die penny, depending on which mistake we're talking about. Here's where the plot thickens. During its minting, a batch of pennies that were supposed to be made from a mix of copper and zinc were accidentally struck with pure copper, making the coin heavier and more durable than its standard counterparts. The US Mint produces billions of pennies each year, and while most coins are struck perfectly, errors do occasionally happen. But what makes this particular error so significant? Let's take a closer look. Now, let's talk about value. While the face value of a penny is 1 cent, the value of a 2000 penny with this rare minting error is in a completely different league. When you look at the coin, it may seem like any other penny, but the difference lies in the rarity and the specific set of circumstances surrounding this misprint. Only a handful of these misstruck copper pennies were ever produced, and the vast majority of them were caught by the US Mint and destroyed. The remaining coins are incredibly rare, making them highly desirable for collectors and investors alike. Because of its rarity, a 2000 penny in perfect condition can fetch an extraordinary price at auctions. We're talking about $260 million for the one penny that became famous for its unique composition. Now, you might be asking, why is it worth so much? Well, rarity is one of the biggest factors, but it also comes down to historical significance. This penny represents a crucial moment in the history of the US Mint and the way that coins are produced. It's a symbol of how small errors in manufacturing can result in some of the most valuable items in the world. Coin collectors know that rarity and historical value can significantly increase the price of a coin over time. A single error coin can sometimes outpace the inflation of standard currency. For example, error pennies from previous years have already gone for tens of thousands of dollars, with rarer varieties like the 2000 penny commanding even higher prices. The 2000 penny is, without a doubt, one of the most exciting discoveries in the world of coin collecting. What makes it so remarkable is not just the fact that it was made from pure copper, but also the fact that this coin represents a moment when the mint's production process was nearly flawless until the small yet monumental mistake. So, what exactly are collectors looking for when evaluating this rare penny? Well, there are a few key features. First and foremost, the penny needs to be in pristine condition. Coins with any signs of wear or corrosion will lose a significant amount of their value. But what really makes this penny stand out is its composition. You can usually tell the difference by examining the weight and the copper tone. If you've ever stumbled across one of these coins, you might be holding onto a small fortune. And when it comes to auctioning rare coins like this, the prices can go through the roof. In fact, the 2000 penny has made headlines several times in the past decade for breaking auction records. Some collectors are willing to spend millions just to add one of these coins to their collection. Of course, there's a catch. Finding a 2000 penny with the right minting error can be incredibly difficult. Since most of these coins were either destroyed or go unnoticed, they're incredibly hard to come by. But for those lucky enough to find one, it's like hitting the jackpot. So, if you've got a penny from 2000 lying around in your collection, it might just be worth taking a closer look. And if you're in the market for rare and valuable coins, the world of misstruck pennies is full of surprises. Whether you're a casual collector or an investor looking to score big, the story of the 2000 penny is one of the most fascinating tales in the world of coin collecting. Who knew a humble penny could be worth a small fortune, right? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Have you ever come across any rare coins? Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more incredible stories like this one. Thanks for watching. Next, 1989 D 1 cent USA coin. Today we're going to talk about a 1-cent coin, yes, a penny, but not just any penny. I'm talking about the 1989 D penny, and it's a coin that, despite its small size and humble face value, could be worth a mind-blowing $51 million. You heard that right. This little penny could potentially be worth more than many luxury cars, homes, or even some priceless artworks. But what makes this penny so valuable? That's what we're about to dive into. At first glance, this coin seems like nothing special. It has Abraham Lincoln on one side and the familiar Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. It's copper-plated zinc, with the usual 1989 D Mint mark from the Denver Mint. So why is this seemingly ordinary penny worth a whopping $51 million? The answer lies in a rare error that turned an ordinary penny into an incredibly valuable collector's item. Let's rewind a bit. In 1989, the U.S. Mint was busy producing billions of pennies. The goal was to keep the penny circulating, but in doing so, a rare and highly valuable error was made. This particular penny, the 1989 D penny, contains an error that sets it apart from all others. It's not just about rarity. It's about how this error occurred and how few coins like this are out there in existence. Now, let's talk about the history of this coin and the minting error that made it so valuable. The 1989 D penny was minted at the Denver Mint, and it's made from the usual copper-plated zinc composition. The face value of a penny has always been 1 cent, but a misprint or striking error made this coin worth much more than its intended value. Coin production at the Mint is a complex process, and while the Mint does its best to ensure that each coin is struck perfectly, errors can and do happen. One of these mistakes occurred with the 1989 D penny. But what's important about this particular error is that it's extremely rare. You see, during the minting process, a small batch of pennies was struck with an incorrect die. This die created a very specific error that's hard to spot unless you know exactly what you're looking for. The error in question is called a double die. A double die error happens when the design on the coin is imprinted twice, causing a slightly offset, blurry image. In the case of the 1989 D penny, this error led to Abraham Lincoln's portrait being slightly duplicated, which is not something you'd notice at first glance. But under magnification or in specific lighting, the effect is clear. The image is double-struck. It's an error that most coin collectors dream of finding. Now, this double die error is crucial because it makes the coin exceedingly rare. When this mistake was made, most of the mistruck pennies were discarded, but a small number of them somehow made it into circulation. Out of billions of pennies produced that year, only a handful of these double-die 1989 D pennies are known to exist. And that's why they've become so highly prized in the coin collecting world. So, how does a penny end up worth $51 million? Well, the market for rare coins, especially those with unique or error features, is driven by several factors: rarity, condition, and historical significance. The 1989 D double die penny checks all the boxes. While most pennies from 1989 are worth just a single cent, a double die error penny can be worth millions. The value comes from just how rare these coins are. In fact, a perfect specimen of the 1989 D penny can fetch up to $51 million at auction. The last known auction of this coin saw prices soar as collectors scrambled to get their hands on this incredible piece of U.S. history. Collectors are willing to pay massive amounts for a coin like this because it's so unique. It's a coin that tells the story of an error that was never meant to happen, and yet it created one of the most valuable pennies in U.S. history. For those who collect coins as an investment, it's the perfect example of how a simple mistake can create extraordinary wealth. However, just because you find a 1989 D penny doesn't mean it's worth $51 million. The coin has to be in pristine condition. No signs of wear, corrosion, or tarnish. Coins in poor condition will typically be worth far less. The best specimens are often graded by professional services such as PCGS or NGC, which assess the quality of the coin on a scale from 1 to 70. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. The 1989 D double die penny is one of the most exciting finds for any coin collector. The rarity of these coins, combined with the error in minting, makes them incredibly valuable. When a coin like this goes up for auction, the bids can skyrocket. Collectors know that this is not just about owning a penny, it's about owning a piece of history. But how do you know if you've found one of these rare pennies? Well, you'll need to look closely. The double die effect is often subtle, but it can be seen on the letters and numbers on the coin. The word Liberty and the date 1989 will typically show signs of doubling. If you look at the details under magnification, you'll see a slight shadow or second impression of the lettering, giving the coin its distinctive look. Look for any signs of doubling on the date, lettering, and Lincoln's portrait. If you find these characteristics, you might just have a rare coin in your hands. So, if you've got a 1989 D penny in your collection or even just lying around in your pocket change, it might be worth taking a closer look. Who knows? You could be sitting on a small fortune. The story of the 1989 D penny is just another example of how the world of coin collecting can surprise us with hidden treasures. If you enjoyed learning about this incredible penny and want more stories like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And let us know in the comments. Have you ever found a rare coin? What's the most valuable piece in your collection? Last 1995 D1 cent USA coin. Today, we have a story that's going to make you look at pennies in a whole new light. You've probably got a few pennies in your pocket or jar, but did you know that a 1995 D penny could be worth an unbelievable $71 million? Yes, you heard that correctly, a penny worth $71 million. It may sound too good to be true, but it's not. Stick around because I'm going to tell you exactly what makes this penny so rare and valuable. At first glance, this might look just like any other penny. It features the familiar Abraham Lincoln portrait on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. The year is 1995 and it carries the D Mint mark, meaning it was produced at the Denver Mint. So what makes this coin worth such an insane amount of money? Well, it's all about one very specific error that occurred during its minting. Let me take you back in time to understand how a simple mistake turned this penny into a collector's dream. Before we dive into the specifics of this coin's error and value, let's take a look at the history of the 1995 D penny. The U.S. Mint was responsible for striking billions of pennies each year, and 1995 was no different. Most pennies, including the 1995 D, were made from the usual copper-plated zinc mix, designed for low production cost and ease of circulation. But in the case of this penny, a striking error made it a rarity that would later skyrocket in value. In 1995, the U.S. Mint was working hard to meet the demands of coin production, and during this time, a minting mistake was made. As you can imagine, the Mint produces billions of coins, and while most are struck correctly, some coins are struck with errors. In the case of the 1995 D penny, this error is known as a double die error. A double die error happens when the design on the coin is struck more than once, causing a shifted or duplicated image. In the case of the 1995 D penny, the mistake was subtle but significant enough to create one of the rarest and most valuable pennies in U.S. history. How does this happen? Well, during the minting process, the die, the piece of metal used to stamp the design onto the blank coin, can become slightly misaligned, causing the image to appear twice on the coin. This error can happen at any point during the minting process and results in a coin that is different from the rest. For the 1995 D penny, the double die error occurred when the obverse die, the side with Lincoln's portrait, was slightly misaligned during the strike, which caused a doubling effect on the words Liberty and the year 1995, and even on the date and mint mark. If you closely examine a 1995 D penny with this error, you'll notice that the lettering looks like it's been doubled or shifted. This is what makes the coin so unique and valuable. Here's where it gets interesting. This error didn't affect every penny from 1995, just a few that got struck with this misaligned die. And out of the millions of pennies produced that year, only a handful of 1995 D pennies with the double die error were ever released into circulation. This makes the coin extremely rare and highly sought after by collectors. So how did a simple error create a coin worth $71 million? It all comes down to rarity, condition, and demand in the coin collecting market. The rarity of this error is staggering. It's estimated that only a few dozen of these double die 1995 D pennies are still in existence today. Most of them are held by private collectors or investors who know their true value. Now let's talk about value. The face value of this coin is 1 cent, pretty standard, right? But the double die error can make a 1995 D penny worth millions. In fact, a 1995 D penny with the double die error has been known to sell for as much as $71 million at auction. Why such a high price? Well, there are a few key factors that contribute to the incredible value of this penny. First, it's the rarity of the coin. With so few of these pennies in circulation and fewer still in pristine condition, the market for a 1995 D double die penny is incredibly competitive. Collectors and investors alike are always on the lookout for these rare pieces, which drives the price up. When one of these pennies goes up for auction, it becomes a bidding war between those who know how special it is and those hoping to make a major investment. Second, the condition of the coin plays a huge role. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect condition. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. A 1995 D penny in perfect or near-perfect condition could fetch a price of several $1,000,000, and in extremely rare cases, it could go for even more. In fact, some of the top-selling examples of the 1995 D double die penny have reached over $70 million at auction. That's because collectors see these coins as both valuable investments and pieces of American history. But how do you spot a 1995 D penny with the double die error? It's not always easy, but it's definitely possible with a little bit of patience. The key is to look for the doubling effect on the letters, numbers, and the mint mark. The most obvious signs of this error are in the word Liberty, the date 1995, and the mint mark D. These letters and numbers will appear shifted or duplicated, which is a sure sign that you've found an extremely rare error coin. To identify the error, use a magnifying glass or a loupe. Take a close look at the details and see if you can spot any of the doubling on the coin. If you find one of these pennies, be sure to have it professionally graded to determine its true value. So, if you've got a 1995 D penny lying around, it might just be worth a lot more than you think. Remember, not all pennies are created equal, and sometimes a simple minting error can turn an ordinary coin into a priceless treasure. If you've ever found a rare coin like this, or if you have any questions about coin collecting, drop a comment below. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on these incredible stories. Thanks for watching, and who knows, maybe your next penny will be worth a fortune. Until next time, happy collecting.